God bless America, and hello everyone. I am the Talk Radio Protege, and this is the Protege program. A short intro for a short video, because I wanted to do a somewhat accelerated schedule for this first video and then give me some more time for the next two. The big intro will be back, I promise. The big story in the news coming off of this weekend is Charlottesville, Virginia, and the violence that took place there around the Unite the Right rally. At this point, it's somewhat difficult to know the exact ideology of those gathered as part of the rally, but if you believe the mainstream media, it was white nationalists and white supremacists and racists and sexists and ad nauseum. There's no doubt that Antifa and BLM were at the rally. Both wings of the media have been reporting this, so I don't see a reason to question that. Not to mention the violence that went on at the rally that always follows Antifa and BLM. The question is who exactly was part of the alt-right as part of the Unite the Right rally. One video that I watched talked about the subject and said it was conservatives. This was from the channel No BS, and while I think that's fine, I believe that the poster advertising the event somewhat dispels the idea that it was exclusively conservatives. The people that were named as being involved in the event were Richard Spencer, Mike Enoch, Jason Kessler, Baked Alaska. These are all the alt-right people. This does seem to be an alt-right event in that sense. The problem that I have with lumping conservatives in with alt-right is that conservatives usually go out of their way to get away from the alt-right, like they did during the dueling conservative rallies in DC a few months ago. As stated earlier, the mainstream media is saying that it's neo-Nazis, neo-KKK, neo-fascists, aka the alt-right. As a brief sidebar, I would like to point out I don't even like the term alt-right. The mainstream media uses it to lump in conservatives. As mentioned earlier, one video is already talking about the alt-right as conservatives, and as I pointed out to you, conservatives distance themselves from the alt-right. So I don't think that the alt-right is the correct term. When used talking to leftists, it just lumps in too many people in their mind. So I prefer the phrase authoritarian right. I believe I'm the only one that thinks about it in this term, but it captures only the people that are culturally on the right. That's the white supremacists, nationalists, what have you. But those are also people that tend to have somewhat authoritarian views when it comes to enforcing those ideas. They do play a lot on identity politics, especially when it comes to the white ethno-state that Richard Spencer is so enamored by. I don't like the alt-right, as I said, because it lumps in conservatives, and think about who is in the normal right. It's politicians like John McCain and commentators like Charles Krauthammer. These are the neoconservatives that don't really believe in conservatism, but they know it wins elections. I mean, just look at John McCain's most recent re-election campaign. Anyone who isn't in the normal right, these neoconservative moderate Republicans, is the alt-right for the mainstream media. So that includes conservatives and the white nationalists, white supremacists, yada yada yada. So sidebar over. Anyway, Antifa and the authoritarian right had these rallies, counter rallies, and ultimately they fought each other. This took place, as I understand it, all across the weekend from Friday to Sunday. People have been criticizing the police action or lack thereof at the Charlottesville rallies. There are rumors that a stand down order was given. There's footage of the groups fighting while wielding sticks and shields. By contrast, on Sunday, there was a free speech rally held in Seattle, and the headline that was given to this rally is somewhat similar to the headline given to the Charlottesville event, that it was a right-wing thing. This image encapsulates what happened at Seattle. Antifa stood in their black bloc getup, and the police stood in front of them. Antifa's objective at every event they go to is to disrupt and punish the people that they are protesting against. They've only really been active to my knowledge in the United States since Trump was elected, but ever since they got into gear, they've trashed cities, they've attacked people, they've filled the streets with the black bloc that protects their identities. Most of the time, the cities that they attack let them do whatever they want. This happened in DC, if you'll recall, after the inauguration speech, where Antifa ran through the streets, burning cars and businesses and assaulting people. And this happened at Berkeley on two different occasions at two events. The first of which they successfully had canceled and shut down. The second of which is now known as the Battle of Berkeley, where dozens of people fought, were injured, and had their property damaged. It's a theme that we've seen play out over and over again that follows Antifa wherever they go. Whenever the police are told to stand down, things get very ugly. And I'll point it out till I'm blue in the face. Rallies absent Antifa do not become violent. See Seattle. Rallies absent police become violent every single time Antifa is present. See DC. See Charlottesville. See Berkeley. Certainly the fellow that drove his car into the crowd was despicable and needs to go to jail. But it cannot be said that Antifa, the left, and their megaphone called the mainstream media is not innocent in the escalation of politically based violence that is on the rise in this country. For community heads, community organizers, and government officials that want to see these types of events take place and also do not want to see violence erupt, the police presence needs to be overwhelming. This is what has happened in events like Seattle, where the police have stood between the two groups that when they come together, they fight. Every time the police are told to step out of the way, we get violence, we get bloodshed, and both sides, as Tim Pool said it, get recruitment footage. Both sides, the alt-right, the white nationalists, and Antifa and the left, get footage of violence that they can use to go out and recruit more people. If we really want to see violence de-escalate, we either need to see one of two things. One thing is, again, something Tim Pool pointed out and suggested, that the two sides need to be responsible for the de-escalation, but I don't think that's going to happen. That's why I think the police need to be given the directives and the overwhelming force that they need to make sure that these events in the future are conducted safely. I'm very proud of the police in Seattle and the safety that they were able to keep up there. And on that note, we'll bring this short video to a close. If you liked what I had to say here, the comments, and the video, please share, subscribe, and sign up for notifications so that you don't miss a single video. Please also hit me up on Twitter and minds.com, and you can check out my Patreon and PayPal sites if you want to make a donation. As always, good night, and God bless.